WePay is a subsidiary of JPMorgan Chase. Recently, WePay decided to deny payment processing services to a major conservative group in Missouri, a group called the Defense of Liberty. WePay claimed the group was involved in, quote, hate, violence, racial intolerance, and terrorism. Were they? No. Scott Fitzpatrick is the state treasurer of Missouri. He's demanding evidence those accusations are true. So far, WePay has not provided it. Scott Fitzpatrick joins us now to explain. Mr. Fitzpatrick, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and thank you for being one of the very few elected officials to do anything about this. Is this a violation of the law, do you believe?
Well, I think Chase has the right to do whatever they want in terms of who they do business with. But in terms of who we as the state of Missouri are going to do business with, we won't be doing business with any bank in the state treasurer's office that chooses to discriminate against essentially half the population, the conservative half the population. And they decided to do this. They suspended the Defense of Liberty, whose founder is a guy named Paul Kurtman, who's a Marine Corps veteran that deployed to the Middle East, fought in the War on Terror, and then came back to Missouri and was a state representative that I served with for 6 years. Is a great limited government, free market conservative who brings these events together. The speaker at this next event that they were going to have that WePay essentially canceled and is causing to be rescheduled was going to be Donald Trump Jr. and Cecilia Johnson, who's the director of Black Engagement for the RNC. And like you said, they've essentially accused them of being a hate organization, a racist organization with no evidence. And they also said that their decision-making process is proprietary and therefore no additional information could be given to them, but that the decision was final. And so I sent a letter today to Jamie Dimon, who's, as you know, the CEO of JPMorgan Chase, and essentially told them that as long as they're going to discriminate against half the country and frankly what's about 60% of Missourians according to the last election and not do business with conservative organizations, that they're not going to be eligible to do business with the state of Missouri.
Amen. Really quick, last week in New York, a leader of the Black Lives Matter organization threatened violence against the sitting mayor of New York if he dared to enforce the law in New York. Are they still a client of JPMorgan Chase? Were they deplatformed too? Do you know, Black Lives Matter?
Yeah, I don't think that they've deplatformed them. They're only interested in deplatforming conservatives, and if they're only interested in doing business with one half of the country, they can change their name to Woke Bank or Snowflake Bank or something. So we'll see how it goes, though.
Scott Fitzpatrick, I appreciate your coming on. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
So we brought you the story last night of JPMorgan discriminating against people who got the wrong political views in the way it offers its banking services. The state of Missouri is fighting back against that. Now the bank has announced it's reversing its decision. So a minor victory, but we celebrate every one of them. We've got details coming up. There's no sector of American life that hasn't been thoroughly politicized at this point. We've watched with mounting horror as banking services have been denied Americans across the country on the basis of their politics. Yesterday, we told you about the latest example. WePay, it's a subsidiary of JPMorgan Chase, recently denied payment servicing services to a conservative organization in the state of Missouri called the Defense of Liberty. Now, WePay informed the group that the company, quote, is no longer able to process payments for your account as we are unable to process payments for hate, violence, racial intolerance, terrorism, or that, quote, encourage any of those things. Well, this is insane because Defense of Liberty doesn't encourage hate or terrorism. It's not a terrorist group. What the hell? These are Americans. So we reached out to JPMorgan Chase to find out why they would do this. Why would you deny banking services to Americans because you don't like who they voted for and then call it terrorism? So after our inquiry and a threat from the state of Missouri, here's how JPMorgan Chase responded. Quote, after further review, we've determined that this organization didn't violate the terms of service, and we're reaching out to the client to discuss reinstating the account. To be clear, we have never and would never close an account due to a client's political affiliation, end quote, which is obviously a complete lie. Accusing people of terrorism? When there's no evidence they're for terrorism? American citizens? Like, what the hell? They should be ashamed. And they've been brushed back a little bit. Sometimes that works.